Hi guys, today I'm reading from page 30 to 48. And again, welcome back to Justice Vida. This is the third part. Make sure to listen to the other two parts I've already read for this book. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, no brainer. From page 30 to 48. Okay. Wednesday. Principal Bottoms is trying to encourage kids to get better grades. So last week, he created this new program called the High Flyers Club, which is kind of like one of those airlines rewards programs. The basic idea is that the better you do in school, the more rewards you can earn. The kids in the High Flyer Club get all sorts of perks, like preferred seating in the classroom with extra legroom. Wriggle, wriggle. Look at this. But that kind of stings for the rest of us, because now there's less space for everyone else. In geometry, there wasn't a lot of room to begin with, so to make extra space for the high flyers, they had to take out a whole row of seats. That means kids like me who used to sit in the back row have to sit in the heater. And that thing is so hot if you stay still too long, your butt could burst into flames. So I have to shift from one cheek to the other to give each a break. Hot, hot, hot! But extra legroom isn't the only thing we're jealous about. The high flyers get snacks and drinks during class, which they're not allowed to share with the rest of us. Snacks, sip. When they're not in class, the high flyers get to use the teacher's lounge, and I've heard the teachers aren't too thrilled with that part of the deal. I'm not too bothered that those kids can use the teacher's lounge, but I am jealous they get to use the bathroom in there. I've heard it's a one-seater, and I really need my privacy when I go. I wouldn't go in there for a little while. Wave, wave. The high flyers even get their own separate entrance when they get to school, so they breeze through security in the morning. Fast track. On top of that, the high flyers get out of school before everyone else. And even though it's only 5 minutes early, that's still plenty of time to get a head start on the bullies. Everyone wants to be part of the High Flyers Club, but it's not easy to get in. You need to have straight A's in all your classes, and there are only a handful of kids smart enough to actually pull that off. So some kids have been cheating to try and get better grades, and they've been coming up with some pretty ingenious ways to do it too. In geometry, Adam Katz wrote a bunch of equations on the back of the sticker on his water bottle, so he could look at them during a test, and he might have gotten away with it if he wasn't so obvious about what he was doing. In science, a kid named Damon Fell actually made a fake arm, which he put on top of his desk during the test. Then he looked up answers on the phone he was holding underneath the desk. The only reason he got busted was because he got a notification in the middle of the test. Ding! Some kids have been teaming up to cheat. A few girls in my history class wrote the names of the most important battles of the Civil War on the back of their necks. And when they moved their hair out of the way, and then moved their hair out of the way once the test started. And in English, a bunch of kids created this crazy system of communicating answers to each other by using Morse code with their pens. But nobody let me in on what they were up to. Clack, click, clickety, clack, click, clack, click, 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 scribble, scribble. The cheating's become such a big problem that today the school had an assembly to deal with. They brought in this guy named Clarence Cluster who said he started cheating when he was in middle school, which ruined his whole life. and I think his story actually shook a few kids up. But I am 90% sure that this guy's name wasn't even Clarence Cluster, and he was just an actor the school brought in to scare us. That's because he looked exactly like the one of the characters in a dinner theater show my family went to over the summer. Be our guest, be our guest. If the school really wanted to get to us about how dishonesty can ruin your life, they should have brought in the school's very first principal, Larry Mack. But I guess they couldn't do that since he's still in prison. If the name Larry Mack sounds familiar, it's because his family owns a giant chain of car dealerships out on Route 1. And he is still on a bunch of old billboards nobody ever bothered to take down. Tell him Larry sent you. But Larry Mack didn't start off in the car business. He was the principal of the middle school for 10 years. And after he got famous for his car dealership, they named the school after him. He was so popular that they even made a statue of him, which they put in the front courtyard. But after Larry Mack opened his 5th car dealership, some reporters started poking around trying to learn how he got the money to start his business. With a little detective work, they figured out he's been stealing from the middle school for years, and it was a huge scandal at the time. From what I heard, the police arrested him at his dealership, right in the middle of a sale. After that, the school took down the statue, or at least the Larry Mack part of it. The only evidence that he was ever there is his shoes, which they couldn't get off the pedestal. They never did change the name of the school though, and I think that's because some people like being linked to someone famous, even if that person's famous for doing a terrible thing. You would think people in my town would be embarrassed to have their middle school named after a crook. But nobody around here seems too bothered by it. Even the school mascot, the Looter, was inspired by Larry Mack. Go Looters! Steal a win! Drive, how to succeed in life and business. The fact that Larry Mack landed in prison didn't stop him from making money though. He wrote an autobiography which apparently sold a ton of copies. I know my school bought at least 50 of them because they take up 2 whole shelves in the Larry Mack section of the library. Drive, how to succeed in life and business. Larry Mack. Larry Mack? A kid named Albert Sandy, who sits at my lunch table, said that Larry Mack only used half the money he stole to start his car dealership, and he buried the other half under the school. That got everyone all stirred up, and people started bringing in tools from home to try and find Larry Mack's secret treasure. Dink dink, clunk, clink clink. Last week, this kid named Danny Tang got the idea that the money could be hidden in the walls, so he broke a hole through the back of his locker to see if he could find anything. Unfortunately for me, Danny's locker is on the other side of mine, and now there is nothing between them. To make things worse, kids figured out that the hole between our lockers was a shortcut from the A wing to the B wing of the school. So now whenever I open my locker between classes, there's always a line of kids waiting to get through. Danny decided to try and make a little money off the situation, and he started charging people to take the shortcut through his locker. So that gave some other kids the idea to create shortcuts of their own. Chunk, clink. But not every locker connects to the one on the other side, and Christian McKay found out the hard way that his locker shares a wall with the principal's private bathroom. After that, Principal Bottoms put his foot down, so now we're not allowed to bring any kind of digging tools to school, which means it takes twice as long to get through security in the morning. Shake, shake, clank. Okay, I'll start reading from page 48 next time. Join my next read aloud for this book. Bye. Are you done? And this is my brother.